Hello YouTube and welcome to my new series called CodeCast, where I'll be covering various programming concepts including different languages and frameworks. For today's episode we'll be going over NodeJS and how to use it to send text messages to any phone using the Twilio library. Let's go ahead and jump in. The first thing you'll need is to have NodeJS installed. I'll put a link down in the description for where you can install Node. It's really simple. You download an executable, you run it, it's all set up and ready to go. After Node is installed, you'll need to initialize a project in whatever directory that you're working in. In my case, I'm using desktop/node/-sms, and whatever directory works for you is great, doesn't matter. Now, we'll want to run a command which will initialize a node project in this directory. So you want to go npm, which is node package manager, and then init. This is going to prompt us through a couple of menus. Most of these don't really matter. The name, we'll just keep it the same. Version, description, entry point. For this, I'll put app.js. Test command, we don't need anything here, nothing here. Then I'll put my name right here. And then the MIT license. Is this okay? Yeah, so we generated the package.json file, which is going to manage all of our dependencies and everything for us. The only dependency we'll be using today is going to be Twilio, which you can install with a really simple command. But first, you want to go to twilio.com and sign up. I've already signed up. After you sign up, go to your console, which is this page right here. Scroll down to phone numbers, click phone numbers, get number, and then from here we can buy number, and then you don't have to pay. This is all completely free as long as you have the trial account. So what you can do is you can put in whatever area code or anything you want. I think you can do other countries. Yeah, but I'll just stick to the states. So we're going to type in the area code that we want to use. I'll use 619, which is the San Diego area. And then it doesn't really matter which one you use. I'll just use this one. You click buy. Again, it's all free. You don't have to pay for anything. Buy this number and setup number. And then it's all set up and ready to go. We don't have to do anything else. So here in my app.js file, this is where everything's going to be happening. I have another file called settings.js, but you don't have to do that. It's just something I'm doing for the video. So next, let's install our dependencies for Twilio. So you'll want to run the command npm install --save. Oh, and then after install, you'll want to type Twilio. And it's going to install the library for us, which will allow us to send text messages using the number that we just bought. This might take a minute depending on your computer, network connection, so on and so forth, but it shouldn't be too long. There we go, it's all installed, and now we're ready to code. So let's go back to our file that we created. In my case, it's app.js. We're going to declare a variable called Twilio. So constant Twilio equals, and we're going to use the require function, and we're going to require the Twilio library. Next, I'm just going to include my settings file that I made, which just has some account information required for Twilio to send the text messages and everything. So just include settings. Alright. So from here, we're going to include, we're going to initiate a client to communicate with the Twilio servers. So let's use that Twilio variable that we declared. We're going to use the REST, Twilio REST client. And then here, Twilio is going to give you some stuff that's associated to your account. So it's going to be an ID and a key. You can find that on the console homepage. Each one is going to be unique to each person, and you don't want to share those credentials with anybody else because it will essentially give them access to your account. That's why I have mine all stored in another file, so it's just not publicly available. So Twilio calls the key a token, which is fine. So here we have initialized our class to communicate with the Twilio servers. So next what we'll want to do is we'll want to actually do the part of the code that sends a message. So we're going to use that same client variable. We're going to use the messages and then create method. Here you're going to pass in a couple of different different arguments inside of a JavaScript object, so it's going to be inside the curly braces. So the first one we're going to do is body, and what body is going to be is just the text message itself. So we go hello from Twilio, let's add a comma, and then the number that we want to send it to, so I'm going to be saying it's my personal phone number, which is also inside the settings file. So I'm going to go settings.number, and when you're doing this, there's a certain format I think that Twilio likes. I'll show it when I put in the phone number, so let's go from, and then this is going to be your Twilio number. So let's go back here, and this is the format I believe that Twilio prefers. It's the plus sign, the international code, and then the rest of the phone number with no hyphens or anything like that. So let's go back to text editor, copy and paste that in, and then that's it for that. And then we're just going to do a small callback function. So let's just go function, and we're going to pass in two parameters. We're going to pass in error, and we're going to pass in message. And all this is going to do is allow us to access the data that's being sent back from Twilio's servers, saying whether or not the message was sent or if there's any issues. But this should work, so we're just going to log everything to the console. So console.log, and then message.sid, which is just going to be an identifier for that message that we sent. So let's go to our console and clear everything out and run our application to see if it's working properly. So we're going to type in node, and we're just going to put in app.js and press enter. Oops, I made a typo right here. It's settings, not setting. Okay. Right, now it should work. So let's just go up here, run the application. Oops. My bad, I forgot to do something. Okay, so now let's run that again, just because I messed something up. And we should have a message here on my phone. And we do. So here we can see that I sent these messages from Twilio, sent from your Twilio trial account, hello from Twilio. That's just on the trial account, so if you get a upgrade your account, it won't have that little sent from your Twilio trial account. So that's just a simple text message. We can do something a little bit more. So we can send, let's say, an image. So we want to add another parameter and call it media URL. And then this is where we can put in like a link to a picture. I think you can do video, audio, so on and so forth. So let's just jump over to Google real quick and look for some pictures that we can send. This one's good. And then we'll put it in here. Copy and paste. Save it. Go back and rerun the application. And again, we should have a text message any minute now, and it will give us the picture. There we go. And we have a picture of a puppy sent to us from Twilio. Twilio is a really cool library. You can do a lot with it. You can do interactive voice response, so you can program automated voice systems, the text messages, sending pictures. so on and so forth. It's a really cool and versatile API. You can do a lot with it. There's a lot of features I actually haven't even looked into yet with Twilio, but this is just the very, very basics of how to use it. Some of the use cases, for example, sending text messages, could be something along the lines of, you know, two-factor authentication, which I'm not sure if you guys know what that is. It's where like you try to log into a website, it will prompt you that it needs a code, and it will text you that code, and you to verify your identity, basically. You know, it's an extra feature of security to make sure you know you're the person, the actual real person, the owner of that account. Another one could be like text reminders. You know, um, I can't think of an example, a specific one, but like, you know, if you have an appointment for a hair salon or something, they could have a system that says, hey, you have an appointment today at 2. You know, it could go on and on. You could really do a lot with this, including that, and that's just the text messages, and you get into like all the phone calls and everything like that. It's a really, really versatile API, and I really like it. And I think it's very useful to know because a lot of people use it as well. But anyways, that's just a quick episode for today. A really quick introduction to using Twilio, sending text messages and pictures over SMS. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to be making a lot more of these. I have a lot of ideas for these CodeCast videos. I think my next video I'll show how to do user authentication using Node. That's going to be a little bit more complex, but I think you guys will be able to manage. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like, share, all of that. Thank you, and you guys have a great day.